Hi, hello. Welcome to the Griffon Show. We are on the road today. Talk 107.3 FM. Our good friends at Garrity Broadcasting. Speaking at the Reagan Luncheon today. So think of it as Cafe American. Am I saying it? American. Anyway, I'll be there today. Looking forward to it. Anyway, Matthew James Tax Pro Hotline, if you want to be part of the program, 844-766-6607. You can always email me, moon@moongriffon.com, moon@moongriffon.com. So we'll get right into it. By the way, just for a programming note, Nancy Landry, our Secretary of State, is going to be in the house right here in Baton Rouge at about 10:06. And then Miss Venable with lawsuit abuse will be with us at 10:30. So we'll have two young ladies on today, and we visit with them in the second hour of the program. Anyway, so it's amazing, folks. As we look at the Supreme Court, by the way, no decision yet on redistricting. If there may be an opportunity. There may be an opportunity for that decision to come down today or tomorrow. If not, folks, we're not going to have a decision on it. And unlike the other states, we're not doing anything about it. We're just going to sit back and let the federal courts, the Supreme Court, kind of tell us what to do. When really, I think, in all honesty, we should have did this last August. We should have, I still don't buy into that Donald Trump and them said, we ought to not do nothing, but everybody else does something. We were told that by a federal judge, we had to redraw the district, and that was not true because there was no order. So now we're told Donald Trump said, stand down in Louisiana because we need the case. And I tell you again, I don't believe that anymore. Just like when you see commercials that Donald Trump is for carbon capture, I never seen it come out of his mouth. Not one time. I never seen it come out of his mouth that we need to hold back on our case. Not one time. And I never seen it come written by law that we needed to do a forced gerrymandered district or the judge was going to do it. So, folks, it's just this thing's starting to build up as, I just want the truth. The only thing I want to do here, I want to grow a big audience and stay around a while longer, but the only thing I want to do here is get to the truth. I think the truth sets you free. I think the truth makes you better. I think the truth might hurt up front, but it's better in the long run. And I just like to know the truth. So anyway, if something breaks today in this show, and it normally by about 9:30, we would have something dealing with the Supreme Court. So that's not but about 20 minutes and a little bit over 20 minutes. And so if we get something, we'll go right to it. But right now, there's no decision that's been made on this redistricting case, which is absolutely outrageous. That it's that hard to figure out redistricting. You can't do redistricting based on race. That is a constitutional fact. And that's what they did. We had the state of Louisiana and the governor and Liz and them said, this is our district, and they gave it to us. And then right before we go to the Supreme Court, they changed their minds to notice racial gerrymandering. And that's the problem here. People are looking back at Louisiana going, well, you're for this today and you're for this tomorrow. And the same thing happening with the judgment dealing with all companies in this horrific case of how these all companies who are only doing their job ordered by the federal government in World War II, now a $744 million judgment against an all company. And now we're waiting to see if, what the Supreme Court says on that. Now, that case probably ain't going to be settled until June. Do we do these cases in federal court, or do we the state courts get to do them? And the state courts will rule against all companies probably 98.2% of the time. Folks, where are y'all at with this case? I noticed today I saw a deal with Liz, and as you know, I'm fond of Liz. I like Liz. I think Liz is a good attorney general in a lot of areas. I disagree with them jumping up and down and excited about going pound our biggest industry. We just disagree. We don't have to get mad at each other. We disagree. And Liz and them are coming down, and the state of Louisiana is coming down on the side of the big-time trial lawyer, John Cormouche, and the rest of the gang, and they always do. Look at the fight we had last year when we were trying to do something with insurance reform, and it was our friends in the trial lawyers that I'm talking about TV trial lawyers. If you're a trial lawyer, I'm not talking about you. I know you're playing by the rules, no problem. Okay? But the TV trial lawyers who are getting filthy rich, who keep telling us how many billions of dollars they're making for everybody, never mentioning they making 40% of that. So if you take $1 billion, they made about $400 million. Then nobody's worth that on these lawsuits. And so we're sitting here yesterday waiting for the Supreme Court to make a decision. And by the way, and then typical Louisiana comes up. And what I mean by that is, Bob Barr had a great piece out on it. But Louisiana trial lawyers steered thousands to judge overseeing the case against the oil companies. Then won $744 million judgment. The whole thing is set up as a kangaroo court. Former AG Bill Barr tells the Free Beacon. The Louisiana attorneys who helped secure a landmark verdict requiring U.S. Oil, the state judge who presided over case ethics filings reviewed by the Washington Beacon, the Baton Rouge-based law firm Talbot, Cormouche, and Marcella, and its lead partners gave $5,000 to Judge Michael Clement's campaign across 4 separate payments made on March 24th, 2014, according to the filings. Days earlier, 4 other firms involved in the case gave Clement another $3,500. These contributions were in addition to the $6,250 the firm wired Clement in 11 and 12. 2014 contributions came during a judicial election in which Clement ran unopposed. It also came 4 months after the firms filed their landmark environmental lawsuit against more than a dozen oil companies, including Chevron and Clement's Judicial District. Ain't that amazing? I know that's nothing but consequences, right, folks? You give to a judge, the judge handles the cases, and all of a sudden now the judge is in charge of the cases, and you gave money to that judge. I'm just telling you, there's so much in this that ought to bother people. It seems like in Louisiana, it's just the way we do business, but we've always done business like that. And that's a shame because now, how many of you people, when you look at this, don't throw up a red flag and go, well, I may have a problem with this. This may be a problem. I do. The decade-long lawsuit argues companies' drilling activities dating back to the 1940s when they produced all the aid to U.S. military war effort and responsible for the state's coastal erosion. It eventually made its way before Clement, who oversaw the 2025 trial. And see, the thing about it is the coast, and the problem with the coast is not the oil and gas. It's the diversion of the Mississippi River. It's not even arguable. I can't believe they can go to the Supreme Court and argue that these companies did what the federal government ordered them to do and that they had fault. Does that make sense to you? So I do what the federal government tells me to do. And when I do what the federal government tells me to do, years up the road, we can get sued. That to me, that says everything you need to know. So I do what the federal government tells me to do. And then years up the road, I get sued for hundreds of millions of dollars. Now, Liz and them are trying to argue it's got nothing to do with that since the 1980s, but the fact of the matter is it has everything to do with that. And I told y'all, if you want to see the coast grow, this is all you have to do. Listen to me. I can take you. You can go drive in Henderson, Louisiana, but you can definitely go in the Atchafalaya Basin. And I know that because I've been fishing the basin for a long, long time. My brothers and my family members and friends been in the basin fishing forever. I moved away, so I didn't go as much. There were canals where these oil and gas, when oil and gas was real prevalent in there, where these oil and gas companies had to keep these canals cleaned out so they can get their barges and boats through to get the products and stuff they needed. So what's happened since oil and gas is not back there like it was, these canals have done what? They've silted up. Canals that used to be 6 and 7 feet are 1 and 2 feet now. You can see the land starting to grow. You can't hardly get through them. You know why? Because the same thing that was coming down the Mississippi River that was helping all the coastline keep land growing, dumping the silt, growing the land to protect the land was diverted for 100 and some years. This is what happens. So what happens is those, you know how they're trying to fix it down there? They're trying to go back to the basin in the river and pull the sediments out and put it down there so it will grow again. But yet we got the audacity to sue the oil companies for the destruction of what man did all right. It's man-made because we diverted the Mississippi River. Folks, this is so simple. Even a TV trial lawyer should understand that. Even a John Carmouche should understand what I'm saying. But no, it's sue, 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 sue. We don't have the all business anymore. We got some service type stuff. We got people that are skilled, but we don't have the all companies here because the all companies have picked up and said, let's go to Texas, where they're not allowing them to be sued every 5 seconds. Louisiana, and it's amazing. Louisiana is leading the charge. Our state's leading the charge to help Carmouche and them win the case. Carmouche, because there's 42 cases. Just think if every case settled on an average of $500 million. That's $21 billion. So I've seen numbers where they want the all companies to pay $50 billion. Okay? So that means Carmouche and them can be billionaires. And they'll go around, and we watch jobs leave this state, and they continue to leave this state. We go around and watch jobs continue to leave. It all started about the same time. If you go check 2013-14, in 2015, Bel Air was one, and all we've had is a mass exodus of people, and that is a fact. And I can back that up because I've seen the census numbers. You cannot even argue with me on this. I've seen it. Bel Air came in, boom, people started running out of state. And all companies, law firms just got bigger and bigger and bigger. As they got bigger and bigger and bigger, all companies leave, and people leave the state for better jobs. Those go hand in hand, folks. They're going hand in hand. And here we are at the Supreme Court. This is almost laughable. Well, Moon, what if they win? Well, then they win. If I was all in gas and I lost this case and Chevron, I'd leave. I've heard people say, well, you know what, Moon, when this is all said and done, if we can settle this is all said and done, then all companies can start doing business again. Why would they want to do business here? If they got sued, they lost billions with the chance of being sued again because somebody's going to come along and make something else up. That's what's going to happen. Anyway, this is the case, but we're not going to hear anything probably before June. They're hopeful, but probably not. All right, we got to take a break. 844-766-6607. Matthew James. Tax Hotline. We take a break. Be right back. I am trying to look for my head sheet here. I want to do with it. I was just saying. Yeah, but that wasn't no big deal. I hit it right here. I just flipped it. I just want to see what I did when I flipped the page. I do the same thing at mine. I got one little part of this that I wanted to use. See, boy, I tell you, when you get older, you got to have glasses. All this stuff prints little. This ain't too bad. want to share. Start right here. All right. That'll wrap up the next segment. Get a little more detail. Oh, man. Okay, I know this ain't much fun. I appreciate you. I appreciate that for a few minutes, bro. Said it ain't much, but at least give you a little bit for your freaking time. You're double dipping. You're still making money at this company. Hey, nothing wrong with a double dip. Hey, like I tell somebody, if it ain't nothing more than lunch. Hey, by the way, did you ask me for something else? Did I get everything to you needed?
It was Jesse had switched.
I think I sent you everything, huh?
Pro was rolling off for an hourly sponsor, and she wanted to put J&J Exterminating. That's what I need to get.
Say that again.
It was a liner for J&J.
I thought I sent that to you. I sent it to sent it to Joe. Joe said he sent it to you.
Okay, I'll go check my email.
Hey, how much time before we back on? You know. I'm gonna give me a water. That little clock ain't working. That thing going out. It don't matter. I mean, I got.
Yeah, I can find you.
No, I didn't. I never used it. I've been fighting. Hi, hello, welcome back. Griffon Show, 844-766-6607. Always a Matthew Tax Pro hotline. Kate, our second producer today, is sitting there laughing, walking. You should have saw me running with these good knees I got. Anyway, great to have you with us. We are here at Talk 107.3 FM, my good friends at Guarantee Media and Guarantee Broadcast, and humble to be here today. All right, so let me just real quick on this story dealing with this trial. Legal experts have criticized the Judge Clement handling of the trial, knowing that he abruptly changed course on a judgment favoring all companies. So, in other words, he was for all companies before he went against it, but he was for all companies before the money started coming in and he went against them. That's what happened. Excluded evidence defendants said were crucial and understand why they didn't pursue certain permits in the 1900s. Anyway, this is the case. A couple other things. Barr, let me give you his full quote. Okay. Well, let me back up. Supreme Court underscored the importance of this case and granted review and attention paid to the issue in today's arguments. Chevron remains confident in federal court that the proper form in cases look forward to court's decision. The whole thing's a kangaroo court. The whole structure of this was set up to basically pander to the interests of these plaintiffs' lawyers, said Attorney General William Barr. You have all these different cases with these guys getting big payouts if they can force settlements. See, I was always told up front that they want big settlements. They don't really want to go to court. They want settlements. Give me my money, and then y'all can go do business again. That's all. Just give them an easy check, and they can go do business again. Barr says the dogs are being let loose on these companies for political reasons. Yeah, folks, and let me tell you what they do. I'll give you an example. I told you, these big time TV trial lawyers make money. They get involved in the political system. Most of them give to Democrats and Republicans. Most of them are big Democrats, but they give to both. They get involved in the mayor's races. They get involved in the governor's races, and attorney general races. They get involved in universities, sports teams. They get on boards. Why? Because they have mega money. And they earn the money by suing the hell out of everybody in the state. It's not the way you run an economy. Overall, Talbot, Carmouche, and Marcellus spearheaded dozens of environmental damage cases against the oil industry on behalf of coastal jurisdictions in Louisiana. Richard Epstein, New York University professor. You're talking about judgment of $50 billion. I told you, $50 billion. Right in Louisiana. That assumes that they're at the same level. They always tend to see in these cases for verdicts to snowfall. Plaquemine will become the minimum in the next jury if the next county, which will go for an even larger sum. Folks, $50 billion What is our economy going to be? The firm's lead attorney, John Cormouche. Cormouche's father, Donald, and another attorney at the firm, Victor Marcella, gave a total of $280,000 in the PAC in the final months before the election. It represents a sizable share of the $781,539 PAC that was spent on Hughes that year. The effort proved successful. Hughes won in December 2012 runoff by a narrow margin and remains on the state's highest court. 2015, Talbot, Cormouche, and Marcella funneled $1.1 million to Louisiana Water Coalition PAC, which opposed gubernatorial candidacy of former Senator David Vitter, whose campaigned on the platform of opposing the firm's lawsuits against the oil industry. That was his mistake. It really wasn't his mistake, but that was a mistake because these trial lawyers will ruin you if you get in front of their billions. They will ruin you. Firm also gave a PAC $1.2 million in 0% interest loans that year. The firm and its partners simultaneously gave hundreds of thousands of dollars to Democrat leftist John Bell Edwards, who defeated Vitter and supported the lawsuits. See, Talbot, Cormouche, Marcella has also given thousands of dollars to support the current governor, Jeff Lane, Attorney General Liz Murrow. 2016, Landry signed a joint prosecution agreement with the firm, which included an extraordinary provision bringing the state to reject all defendants' arguments regardless of merit. And then Landry appointed Cormouche to the Louisiana State University Board of Supervisors, which, by the way, if you didn't hear, I had him on my program and directly told him he didn't deserve this. He ought to quit and they ought to remove him. I've asked the governor several times, please remove this guy. Anyway, what side do you believe on? You can always email me, moon@moongriffon.com. You're welcome to call. That's just some more information for you to use. We'll take a break. Be back. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. And trial lawyers. Ooh. Let me see. Stuff ain't coming up. Is the internet kind of playing funny? There it is. There it is. It's kind of spinning a lot. Does it do that sometime? Okay, I got it. It's doing it. Just it normally didn't. It normally haven't spun like that. I probably didn't get on it. I'm probably just on whatever I'm on. I may ought to get on y'all's.
Yeah, I could probably get you on.
Let's see. Let me see something.
If you go to your Wi-Fi.
Okay, Wi-Fi not connected. Okay, which one am I getting on? GTY, I guess GTYLAN or other. Why don't you just do guess? I do guess. I just remember to do it every time. Oh, do you have to have a password either way?
Yeah.
Well, we need to do the permanent one then. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hand this to you, and you put it in. Because I don't need my phone. I got it right there. Yeah, I was surprised. I figured y'all used that clock. Okay. You got me? Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. It's still spinning. There it is, man.
When's your first guest?
10.
Anybody on the phone?
No phone. Both of them supposed to be in the house. All right, we ready. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. It is the Moon Griffon Show on the road, beautiful Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Matthew James Tax Pro Hotline if you want to be part of the program. Last thing on this, and by the way, Guarantee broadcast, and we do appreciate them, Talk 107.3 FM. As you know, starting February 2nd, we'll go 3 hours with our friends at Guarantee. New Orleans, too. Jeff Correa and them are going to take us as well. So I want to just throw it out at the same time. So it's exciting to keep growing. We got some other stuff working with the internet, but I'll get to that a little bit later. I just want to. The last thing on this deal is that, folks, I've interviewed all sides. I have talked to people on the trial lawyer side. Okay, now they're not going to come on there. I had Carmouche on for an hour. He can come back for an hour anytime he wants to. I like John. John was real nice. I like going back and forth with him. Had Digger Earl, LeBoyd Earls. You see their commercials all over the place. So Digger comes on him whenever he calls me. Gets mad at me, I put him on. And I've talked to people privately that are actually trial lawyers, but they wouldn't run a bit of advertisement. If you gave them the money to run advertisement, they wouldn't do it. Their businesses are successful. They don't need to be on TV every day. They don't need to be bragging how they got $1 billion or $2 or $3 billion for people. They don't. So I'm not coming on the air talking from one side. I talked to the other side. I got one of my buddies. He's a really good friend, and we don't always agree on everything, but he's a great, great, great friend. It's great we don't always agree on everything. And he flat out told me, this was last year, matter of fact, we were doing what we both are not too good at. We were fishing. And he was talking about tort reform, how that never works. And by the way, he's right so far because I hadn't seen it really work like they think it will. But on the flip side, he said, Moon, he said, this advertisement is really bad. I said, would you do it? He went, heck no. He said, I got all the business I want. I'm not ever doing that. He said, but what makes it bad is you got somebody out there, and this is what he told me. He said, it's not necessarily all the big cases. That's what the John Carmouches and some of these other, they want those big cases. But he said it's a lot of the smaller cases. He said when you're advertising, they got people out there, especially in Louisiana, that are living paycheck to paycheck. He said they're behind on their bills. They might be behind 2 car notes and a house note. He said we got a lot of cases, and people may not realize that, or go to court that are 100,000 cases, $150,000 cases. That's why when you see some of this advertisement, they'll put, 150, 100, 200. I got 300,000. Get it done. Got me this. Joe Osteen of the Get It Done. I call him Joe Osteen. He's the Joe Osteen of trial lawyers. So he said, but you look at them, they say, I want 150, I want $300,000. He said, but a lot of these people that win these cases don't have anything. He said, a lot of these people, when they get hit in a car accident, they know they can get them an extra $50,000, $100,000, and that's why they'll go sue. Because they have nothing. And that's big payout to them. They get $50,000. Think about if you're there, you may be there. You're struggling to pay your bills. You're behind on some notes, knocking at your door. Wolves are knocking at your door. And all of a sudden, you've been in a car accident. And a lot of these accidents all settle out of court. And somebody that doesn't have anything and not much money or whatever can't pay their bills, that's a shot in the arm for them to get $50,000 or $100,000. And he says what the TV commercials do, this is a lawyer. What the TV commercials do is encourage people, sue, 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 sue. There's no better evidence of going to Lafayette down, going down, when you come off the I-49 and you get to the major highway that runs all the way down, that thing run all the way down to the end of the earth, 90. And it's a fact. Those billboards all used to say, you're looking for a job. We got 401k. We got 2-3 weeks vacation to start. We got dental. We got all that. And it's just trial lawyer stuff now. And all those places that ran all the way down, all advertised for employees. That's not there anymore. You know? Somebody just said when our drivers get in an accident, talking about his business, we always get sued. The last one settled for $300,000, no injuries. Pushing paper, encouraging a lawsuit drives costs up. And this is a business owner. He makes a great point to me. That's what I mean. So you get hit by a company, eyes light up. You know what they tell me too? If they run into somebody, runs into them. If somebody runs into them, their eyes light up. Because they know now, because they've been trained watching TV commercials. All you got to do to be successful is get in this trial lawyer economy where you need to sue the hell out of somebody. There are reasons to sue. But all this stuff's driving up costs. And they never admit it. And when we go down to the legislature, when you go down to the legislature and you try to see real reform, you might get something passed, but you never get everything. So I got a buddy of mine that called me. I know that there's been some lowering of insurance rates. And as I saw check into this, why are we seeing some insurance rates lower? They're trying to jump up and down, say we did all this reform. 2 things. Number one is no hurricanes for a couple of years. But the other thing that I'm seeing that was put out and was told to me, and what I saw a tape was, you see all this AI stuff? See all this AI stuff? They're getting rid of the middleman. They're getting rid of commissions. They're getting rid of 40% of their payroll. So if you get rid of 40% of payroll, you can afford to charge less to your customers. That's something that's happening. I got a clip. And Walker, I may try to send it to you that I can play, that tells you that this is what's going on. That's the reason insurance rates are coming down. Is that they're going to start, all these big insurance companies are going to start cutting out the agent and the middleman. Everybody does it online. They do it online. You don't need the middleman. You don't have all these big salaries. You don't have all the secretaries. You don't have all the people that do the things they do. And if you do it online, guess what? They got a 40 or 50% decrease in their costs. So they can move some of that cost to you and me. And that's what's really happening. That's what I'm being shown, and that's what I'm being told. So when you say insurance rates are coming down, it may be somebody may be losing their job. Remember, AI is the greatest thing since sliced bread, according to some people. I don't see AI as that, but I know that's where we're going, but I'm just saying I don't see that. I think that could also cause a problem up the road because if China and them are involved in AI, and even some of our government people involved in AI, they put out the information they want without giving you the rest of the story. So those are the kind of things that's because we are a big AI state right now. We even gonna get bigger. If what happens out of is it Boyce, Pineville, Alexander Rapids, they're looking like another deal was gonna come up there too. Construction jobs on the front side is awesome. It's awesome because you got to build all this stuff, and it takes 2 or 3 or 4 years to build. But it does help your economy. Short run, the long run is the part I don't understand how that works to help your economy. But if you got 100, 200 jobs, that'll help your economy, especially if they're paying $80,000 or $100,000 a year. But we'll have to see. So I just want to throw that at you because I'm starting to read what's happening in the insurance business is instead of you. And by the way, you can do this right now, Kay. You can go online and say, I need an online quote for insurance company. And it will come up. And one guy said he got a quote of $1,100 for the 6 months for insurance. He said, and it's one of the major carriers here, but I'm not going to get into the name. He said he went to the carrier, went to the agent, said, how much is it going to cost me? Like I do, I got an agent. So they say, how much it's going to cost. But when they went online, it was about $600 or $700 less for those 6 months because he didn't use an agent. He went online and got the cost. You see what I'm saying? You get rid of agents, all that cost will come down. The benefit is that me and you would pay a lot less for insurance. The bad thing is you start worrying about the jobs and the jobs created from the other side. How do people replace that? All right, we got to take a break. We're going to come back, wrap up one more segment. Nancy Landry, our Secretary of State, is headed this way. We'll get her on sometime after 10:05, 10:06. Visit with her. A lot of changes in election laws and closed primaries, and I'll let Nancy explain all that when she gets here. All right, you're listening to the Moon Griffon Show, Talk 107.3 FM right here in Baton Rouge. Take a break. Be right back. I got to go give a speech, and I don't have the first clue what I'm going to talk about. Reagan, it's a Cafe American, or Cafe America restaurant. And it's not a big place. The food's delicious. Woody Jenkins got his deal over there with the Reagan Republicans. They got one in Meta's going to be up there where I was living, but they got another one they're looking at buying land outside of Rafiq Parish toward Alexandria.
Yeah, the initial jobs on the front end to build it, and I guess the people who run it. But if it's all AI, isn't that automated? Less work?
Well, yeah, it's going to be the construction jobs where the money's at. Once that's done, you're kind of about 100 jobs.
Because the idea is that, you need less.
It is Cafe American restaurant. It is 7521 Jefferson Highway. Seafood, po' boys, all that kind of stuff. They got a little side room. They'll have 40, 50 people. They pay you pay $25 to go to it. They feed you, and they always have a speaker too. They got another guy speaking before me. Huh? They do it several times during the month. Yeah, I've done it several times. I don't know if it's an every Tuesday event, every other Tuesday event, but it's a couple times a month. Like the district attorney, Helen Moore, he's gonna be there. Because I got a text saying he was coming. I said, bring him on. I don't know if I did. I feel like I met him at some event somewhere. I just can't place it. Seems like he's a nice guy. I think he's well liked here. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah. Well, he'll come in. He won't like if I say something too bad about trial lawyers and stuff, but that's okay. I'm not going. I don't hold back if somebody's coming. Let me see what I got over here. If anybody think that New Orleans is going to change with this Helena Moreno, you just wasted your time. I mean, Kamala Harris, dude. Ever since the Landrews, that thing's been rough. Oh no, dude. They vote like 92% in presidential and 94% for governor. Well, she will be, and I don't think she's going to be Latoya. She's not going to embarrass herself like that. I just think her policies won't change. That's all I meant. I'm just saying the policies are not going to change. And anybody dreaming that it's all of a sudden New Orleans is going to pop out of this, New Orleans is in so much debt and stuff. Problem is the Republicans won't quit giving them money. I don't ever go to New Orleans except for one reason. I have to. There's a wedding. We did run down there during the holidays. Well, I went to a Pelican game when they played Dallas Mavericks. I wanted to see Cooper Flag. They played at Duke, and man, that was a good game. Zion had 30-something. Cooper had 29 or 30. It was really good. Yeah, I worried about that. I brought my old truck, but they didn't hit us. So if they would, I wouldn't have been surprised. Hi, hello, welcome back. It is the Moon Griffon Show. Honor to be with you. Secretary of State Nancy Landry will join us. All the changes with elections. We'll get a lot of commercials running, and we'll get a chance to talk a little bit about what's going on. 844-766-6607, Matthew James Tax Pro Hotline. Don't forget, you can always email me, moon@moongriffon.com. Best way to kind of get in touch with us. But it's an opportunity for you to be a voice that way as well. By the way, jump gears just for a second. I'm kind of laughing. So Helena Moreno gets sworn in as the new mayor of New Orleans. Now, we'll say this, okay, and I don't know her. She was on the council for 15, 20 years. So she has fought against any of the corruption, anything down there. That's a fact. Now, looks like she's a smart lady. Is she going to do things different than Latoya? Yes. Personally, she will. Professionally, she will. As a person, it's no way she does crazy stuff like Latoya. I just don't see it. Maybe I'll be proven wrong, but I don't see that. But if you look at it from a policy standpoint, if you look at it from the policy side, if you look at it from the political side, she's going to do exactly what they always did. They always do in New Orleans, and they're going to be from the left. I mean, if Kamala Harris is coming square you in with all her radical, crazy ideas, you're not falling far from that tree. When you sat on a council for almost 20 years and you did nothing to stop anything, you come in, what she's done, she's made friends with Cameron Henry and some Republicans because apparently they're going to keep giving money to New Orleans. And the deal is, it's very similar to what they said years ago about the banks when we got in trouble. Too big to fail. Nobody wants New Orleans to fail. I get it. But that's kind of the mentality. So they're going to probably keep funneling how many hundreds of millions of dollars they got to funnel to keep them afloat. But they really ought to hold them responsible to what they've already accomplished and what they've done and where they are now. But that's not going to happen. Cameron Henry's already got $120 million worth of bonds floated that way. I heard Henry say, we're going to do whatever we got to do, give them whatever we got to give them. Moreno becomes new, but think about Get It Done Gardens down there, Joe Osteen. They all running down. James Carville, same old leftists, Bell Edwards, all these people supporting her because they're supporting the policies. So they're not. Marino's not coming in with change. Stephanie Grace, who don't have a lick of sense, by the way. Stephanie Grace came in and what? Oh, here it is. Behind the headlines. I think it was Stephanie. Let me make sure I'm telling you right. No, it was I'm gonna say it's this. Yeah, Stephanie. Stephanie said for Marino, crisis creates opportunity. Well, I would say that sounds like never let a disaster go to waste. Crisis creates opportunity, but if you treat it the same way that was treated that created the crisis, it won't change anything. I don't see where Marino's going to change anything. How does she change anything? All the people that supported her, every one of them that supported her from the left. Now, somebody else said, no, this is always a bipartisan thing, that Boy Z. Bollinger put money out to have this, and Steve Scalise was there. Guess who else spoke there? Cameron Henry. Cameron Henry, Senate President Cameron Henry, right there to speak. Like this is going to be a changed regime compared to Kamala. I told you it might change personally, but it ain't going to change. It's not going to change political. That's going. We good. We got. Oh, I don't even know what time. Oh yeah, we got 10 minutes. So I don't know if any of that will change because the players are all the same. The players that put her there are all the same. And I just don't think you're going to see a whole lot of change there. So it's not going to change the way people wanted to change. What I want to see is New Orleans grow up. What I want to see New Orleans is get out all the political headaches that they, every time New Orleans embarrasses New Orleans, they also embarrass us. Somebody made a good point. James Carville moved to Mississippi to escape the crime. Yeah, but he came back for the meat. You're right. Carville doesn't live there. Carville ain't live in New Orleans anymore. Based St. Louis. He got out of there. Why would he leave a place that he loves so much? I mean, wouldn't New Orleans be a great place to retire if you're James Carville? But he can't because he's worried about the crime there. But there was Carville supporting the same woman that's been on the council for all these years. So that part of the equation, I think it may change then, and that Marino keeps to herself, tones down all the craziness that LaToya did. And that I welcome. But every time New Orleans gets hit with some kind of the political corruption, it makes Louisiana look bad. And that's the part that I'm really concerned about. I don't think policies change. I don't think anything's going to change from the way they're spending money, the way they handle their business. They got to prove it to me. And I know I was talking to Kate a few minutes ago. You got family members down there. Off the record, do they think something's going to change? Are they hoping something's going to change? Is there a little hope with her coming in? Just because I'm curious.
Yeah, maybe a little.
Well, anybody that comes in new, you're going to have that little bit of hope.
And anything that's not what was previously there is a step in the right direction, unfortunately.
Hate that word, Kate, but I know what you're saying. But you can change your reputation, but eventually the reputation's got to be changed over a period of time. And it's not what you say, it's what you do. I mean, that's just life. It ain't what I say, it's what I do. And that's part of what we do. By the way, last thing before we get out of here, and we'll have Miss Nancy Landry on. Medicaid work requirements may result in 32,000 missed cancer screenings in Louisiana. So, and they blaming Donald Trump, and we changing the way we do Medicaid, and these enrollees are not going to show up, and it's going to endanger 190,000 to 300,000 people. You know what would endanger them worse? Go to single-payer system that the Democrats are trying to push on us. Go to single-payer system, which is ration care. This will happen to 10 times more people. Ration care Obamacare and ration care are so close together. I think what's a shame, you know what endangers somebody? Not going to work and paying your own health care. That endangers you. Waiting for the government to take care of you from a health care perspective or money perspective, that endangers you more than Medicaid work requirements. Think about it. They want them to go to work. You can have all the great free benefits you've been getting, but you got to go to work. I mean, I got up this morning, 5 o'clock, on the road before 6 o'clock this morning, going to work so I could pay my health care. Mine's not going to be free. So you mean to tell me I'm required to get up in the morning to put in an 8 to 10 hour day so I can pay my health care and Medicaid, and they're writing an article like, oh my God, these people, because of the work requirements, may result in missed cancer screening. Go to work. You mean to tell me you can't go to work to support your family? Okay, you got up this morning and went to work to support your family? I thought you did. And you know, everybody I've seen in this building that got a job got up this morning and went to work to support their family. So they got Medicaid work requirements. Oh, we're going to miss 32,000 cancer screenings. Huh? Go to work. You can still get your free Medicaid. Go to work. You know, somebody said, well, that's kind of harsh. That's not harsh. That's reality. When I got up this morning, I did not have an option if I was going to go to work. I had to go to work. I want to pay my bills, and I want to eat, and I want to pay my medical, and I want our family to survive. See, they make it sound, boy, these poor Medicaid people, they're going to miss cancer screenings because of work requirement. Well, I was required to go to work today if I want to have a house and eat and pay health care. I mean, all they're doing is requiring to go work, and the hours are not that big a deal. But you know what the media focuses on? Donald Trump, Republicans being negative about them because they're requiring people to go to work. Hell, my daddy required me to go to work when I was growing up. They required me to go to school and take care of that too. Thank God they did that. Maybe some of these people are when they're growing up, they're not required to go to work because maybe their parents don't go to work. Anyway, we got to take a break. We got to go. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. Secretary of State Nancy Landry when we get back. I didn't hear the music. What time was it? Pretty close. Hey, girl. I'm well, bet Nancy's going. This Moon's about to run my life, beat me up, calling. I think we got the right road, but you know what? The guy that I'm working with told me, y'all were the people to call on this stuff that I called you about.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
And it's really not. I'm good with you.
Yeah.
Everything I did, I'm good with you.
We want to be the one-stop shop. That's our goal, so we want to help people.
But we were told that, so I'm saying what you know, hung up last time with my wife. I said, I've been bothering Nancy the whole dang time. Nancy and them at least tried. And I said, so we're going to get them today and probably get it straight. Move on.
It's been a while.
Trey's my new,
Good to see you, bro. Likewise.
Trey's my new, Deputy Secretary for
I
Communications and Policy.
thought he was going to tell you do fine.
I can do that
You might have to fill
But
in.
if there's the thing, if you had to do that, do it.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
Hey,
Secretary of State.
Hey, Trey Williams.
All right, Ms. Nance, we got a few minutes, and we're going to need this other mic.
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to go over some of the playing field with the elections. That's all. Nothing, no political, just to kind of make sure we explain it. I'm going to Q&A off of what you say.
Can I get that on the record?
No, but I'm not going to do that to her because I told her I would. Well, this is not an election, so we good. You need one of these?
No, I got one. I just brought you a couple.
Yeah. You got it? Yeah, just take that. Anyway, how's it been going? Well, you said last year you will have to start coming around because as we get closer.
Yeah, so we did want to
So they-
really start publicizing it when we had the elections in the fall that were not closed party primaries. We didn't want to confuse people.
I remember that. I remember you saying that
so
we were going to wait.
started right after that, just trying to, get the word out and the legislature gave us a budget to do that. They gave us some resources.
So and off the record, we have elections in May and June? Are you still not sure? No,
No.
reason I'm asking you that.
Oh no,
was-
we're having them as of right now. That's what the law is. The elections were moved to May and
Okay.
June.
So
yeah,
on
that's
this,
what they did in that
are you
special
waiting on
session.
this court decision at all?
Well, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
we're all waiting on it because we have to see
Is
what
it-
the remedy's going to be.
But
And
if it don't come down tomorrow, then the word I get it, we may not get it.
we'll get it in June. We'll see.
Well, in
I mean,
June, yeah.
I mean, there's,
Man, so why couldn't they have done? Why couldn't they have just went on? It went in August. I was pushing hard to go ahead and redo the district. Now, this ain't nothing to do with you, though. I'm gonna tell you what I'm telling you. That's why I'm asking you off the record. Couldn't they have just done that? Had everything
Well-
preset, and then here comes where Trump and them don't want us to
Yeah,
do that.
I
But I
think-
heard other stories that
well,
I found out that wasn't
the
true.
case was before the Supreme Court, and they didn't want to moot that case. Like it would have, it might have messed up the case, and the court would have
They
said,
didn't
well,
know-
this is
nobody-
no longer
I
relevant
know, but
because
nobody told that if you did it on contingency, based on what happens in the court. No, here you go. We got it to go.
Oh yeah, I think
see what
there
I'm
was
saying? That
just
you
some
coulda-
question about whether
Okay.
that would mess it up. But I can't talk about
I'm not
that
getting
kind
into
of
that with you.
detail
This
into
is
the
off
case
the
because
record
I'm the
on this.
defendant. Yeah. So, but that I think they were having conversations with lawyers about whether that would
Yeah,
mess up the
I'd love to
case.
pick your brain one day,
So-
just in fun. Off
Happy
the
to do. Are you
record.
going to Washington Mardi
No,
Gras?
no,
Oh,
I ain't going.
not doing that. 'Cause,
No, I hope my wife don't come back and say we're going. When is that?
we're leaving the 25th.
Oh no, I won't go.
Ryan's up there that, 29th.
I went to it one time. She's been 4 or 5 times. She wanted me to go back, but she didn't. She didn't push for it. I'm thankful. that was not my deal, cup of tea. But I
Yeah.
went, and it was I got to
It's
see a
fun.
bunch of people and all that. And I actually had a good time. But what I did was she wanted to leave on a Wednesday, come back on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And so
That's what
she
most
finally
people do.
worked it down. We got that Friday at 1, and we were out of that Sunday at 6.
Well, this year it just happens to coincide with our National Secretaries of State conference, and so
Is that in
I was
DC
going to
too?
be up there anyway.
Oh,
yeah.
well, that kind of makes it. You probably got to stay the whole week, huh?
What?
You got to stay the whole week.
Yeah, I'm staying the whole
I
week.
figured you did.
And
last year it fell during the same time we had the snow blizzard down here.
I know.
Travel was
I know we ended up not making it, but again, it butted up against our national conference that year. So I got there the day that Washington Mardi Gras ended and had to stay for the, I had to stay for the conference. So.
Hey, just make sure we got her mic on because we had it off.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I know we've been leaving off. I didn't have anybody in here.
Going well. You had fun last week?
I did.
Yeah. Out there oppressing all the whatever party from Jefferson Parish.
I mean, what was his deal?
I don't know.
He was like,
I was told when I walked in it was gonna be a good time.
I'm like, why are you being combative with me? I'm not going to give you legal advice. What was his, he was trying to get me to say that I would be the plaintiff against myself.
Right.
That don't make no sense.
Because I'm pretty sure I have to be the defendant, and but I wasn't going to give him legal advice.
Can
And then
you
that
cite
lady
the law
says,
word for word. Can you cite the law word?
yeah. And then the lady
She was
says,
there again yesterday, by the way.
she says, tell me where it says you can't give legal advice. I'm like thinking in my brain where the common sense is located. I mean, I'm not a mayor.
No,
Okay.
we ain't gonna do that.
But I
to you.
mean,
Hey, we ain't gonna do that to you.
yeah, she was interesting. That was interesting, but it's always fun. I need to wear flat shoes next time I go. That's the second time my feet have gotten completely numb standing there. I don't know why, but it happens there. And it didn't seem to happen anywhere else. But so when I started to walk away, I was like, oh, I don't know if my feet are going to work. They stood in this one spot for so long, they went numb. But,
I think we'll have it. I sent my wife that thing you sent me.
Oh, the invitation?
The deal with maybe Richard Nelson sent that to me. Anyway, they sent me another name at the department.
you
said- yeah.
yeah.
So we're gonna.
And then
I'm hoping she'll do it before I get
Richard
home.
Called you, huh? Richard
Yeah,
Nelson?
he texted me.
Okay.
We went back and forth last night.
Yeah, I hate passing someone off.
Well,
to
the thing
another
about it is
agency.
it's 2
That's just
steps,
so
and we got it.
bureaucratic.
If you don't get to the right people, you never fix the steps. So this has been ongoing for months, and it ain't been
Wow.
just
Well, you
me.
should've called me
And
earlier.
let me tell you what I want to do. I went to Telabara, who I knew. We sat them down, and they were confused. And I let Randy Haynes with the propane people. So I got to meet and said, Randy, go to town. They go, oh, we got this. We have probably had to fill out 8 different things already.
Oh
Now
my
I'm over at
gosh.
the Department of Revenue. So it's just, my deal is, Nancy, if this is how hard it is to do business, wow.
Yeah, I know.
But you can't get paid unless you give them every bit of information they want. It's just got to be
We're
crazy.
trying to make it easier, and so we've been, consolidating as much as we
But
can
if I
on
called
websites
you,
with them
if-
and,
If I called you and said, Moon, it's 27 steps you got to do every one of them, but here they are. Guess what? I do them all. If you come back and say you missed one, that ain't what's happening. All right, Brian, we need to
feel
need
bad.
All right, now you're live.
Oh, different glasses. Can you grab my glasses out of my purse?
Should be good. You should have been further.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, y'all. Welcome back. It is the Moon Griffon Show on the road. Beautiful Baton Rouge. Talk 107.3 FM. My good friends at Guarantee Broadcast, Guarantee Media. My friend Brian Haldane is running the post now. That's it. 1, 2, 3 producers to take care of me today. I just want to let you know that. I'm going broke, but hey, we got a show. Anyway, Matthew James Tax Pro Hotline. If you're interested, you can always email me, moon@moongriffon.com. All right, so now to have Secretary of State Nancy Landry joins us. First of all, good morning.
Good morning.
been
Thanks
playing-
for having me on.
I would say I've been playing phone tag, but she's one of the only ones that you get in touch with. They at least try to help you. I'm giving you some credit right now.
I'm
because
here to serve.
Yeah, I'm telling you, but that's a whole other story. So, Nancy, we talked about this last fall. You said, boy, next year we got to make sure everybody understands we got some closed primary stuff that's going on and involved with open primary stuff that's going on. And so let's take it from the beginning. What's happening, and we want to go to, like, if you walked in at your polling place, especially if you're a no party like me, I mean, you're going to be asked a couple questions and you want to figure it out. So let's just start.
Right. The legislature made some big changes to elections, and I didn't take a position on that legislation, but I did ask the legislature to give me time to implement it with integrity. And so the implementation does start in 2026. And so we have been blanketing the state with information about what the changes are coming up and what voters can expect, because we don't want to have any surprises. And so what we're going to have now is for 5 races, we will have closed party primaries. And those races are U.S. House, U.S. Senate, Public Service Commission, the Board of Elementary and Secondary Education, and Louisiana Supreme Court. So those 5 races will be a little different for voters when Republicans can only vote in the Republican primary in those races. Democrats can only vote in the Democratic primary for those races, and no party voters will make a selection of which one they want to vote in, or they can choose a no party ballot where there won't be any of the major party
I'm only going
primaries
to stop you there to explain something, because there was also another change. There was an independent party. And there are some people went and registered an independent party thinking they're no party, but that's not the point. The independent party people decided to back off and get rid of that party. They approved that last legislative session. So if somebody says, well, I'm in an independent party, and they show up, they're going to see that name with no party. Can you explain a little bit about that so they will understand that you didn't do anything wrong, you didn't do anything right, but understand where you are today?
Right. So the legislature decided to change the law and go back to the prohibition that was in the law before, that prohibits a party from being named the independent party because of the confusion that caused to voters. And so independent party voters would not have been able to vote in the closed party primaries, and most of them thought they were unaffiliated voters. They didn't even realize they were a member of a party. So the legislature decided to dissolve the independent party, and all of those voters were moved into no party status. There are about 150,000 of them. And so now those voters will be able to participate in the closed party primaries. And that took effect in August, and most and all of those voters got a letter in the mail telling them that they've now registered as a no party voter. But we're encouraging all voters to go check their registration, your official registration, not how you've been voting every year, but your official registration is what determines which ballot you will get.
So let's stay along that line. So when a independent, which is me, I registered independent.
You're a no party guy.
I'm a no party guy. I'm sorry. No party. I registered no party. Then the independent party came along, and so that's going to be gone. So everybody's going to be listed. If you're a no party, you're still no party. But if you're an independent, you're a no party too. So when you go into the booth, or you get to the place where you're going to vote, this is not complicated, but somebody may think it's complicated. So I get to my poll, you're my polling lady, and we got the United States Senate race, you got a House seat, and you got maybe a local race going on. So what's going to happen with that no party person at that point?
They'll ask them to select which primary they want to participate in, or which ballot they want to receive. So they'll have to select either Republican, Democrat, or no party ballot. And then they'll be directed to the voting machine to vote.
But at that point, aren't they really deciding if you're going to vote Democrat or Republican?
They're locked in then whatever selection they make.
That's what I'm saying. But once they make that selection, it's going to be Democrat or Republican.
Correct.
Okay.
or no party, which would be only the open party primary races, because we continue to have open party primaries for everything but those 5 races that I named.
But if I walk in as a no party person, I want to make sure I'm doing it right too, Nancy.
Okay.
That's why I brought it here. I want to learn. So when I walk in, I want to vote in the Republican primary. So I will say I'm voting in the Republican primary.
Correct.
And when I vote in May 16th, by the way, my birthday, I can't believe you did that to
Oh.
me. So when I walk in and vote in my Republican primary, and there's a runoff in June, I have to stay in a Republican primary. Explain that too.
Right. So if you are no party voter, a no party voter makes a selection in the party primaries, whether they want to vote in the Republican primary, the Democratic primary, they're locked into that selection through the runoffs. And we will only have runoffs, party primary runoffs, if necessary. So there could be a winner outright.
50% plus one stays.
Right.
Okay.
So if there is a runoff, the selection you made, you're locked in with that selection through June. Of course, in the fall, anybody can vote for whoever they want.
Okay.
They're not closed.
This is the other thing on the ballot that I don't want it to be confusing. So if I walked in, so let's take May 16th. Now, of course, parishes are all different. They may have a local judge race or mayor's race, whatever. So when I walk in and I make the decision, I'm gonna vote in the Republican primary. Okay. Now, at that point, the only thing that'll be on the ballot probably is the House and the Senate race for the most part, I think.
Well, there's a special Bessie election.
That one will be on that too.
And there's a special Supreme Court
so that will be on that too.
as well. So those are both closed party primaries as well.
But if it's
I
local,
don't know if there's a Public Service Commission special.
I don't think so. Not yet.
Yeah.
So when we go in and vote, those will be, if I'm voting in a Republican primary, that's when I'm gonna vote. But let's just take a local race. If there's a tax race, police jury race, or whatever, everybody gets to vote in that.
Correct.
You're still going to get the vote, even though you pick the Republican or Democrat
right. You
primary.
still vote in all the open primaries. So there'll just be several more what we call ballot styles. So your ballot will have the correct candidates on it, depending on what choice you make as a no party.
By the way, that happens sometimes anyway. You go on the ballot, you look and you vote for all this stuff. You say, well, one of them wouldn't let me vote. Well, you were not in the precinct to vote that, but it still appeared on the ballot because it's got to appear on the ballot because other people that can't vote for it. Am I right by saying that?
On the election day machines, the current machines that we have, because they're so old, it'll just be grayed out on that one. But if you vote early on the more modern equipment, you will only see your ballot choices.
So that was you're right. That was the old one.
Yeah. Yes. So when we get a new system, it'll be like the more modern ones, because all of them are like that now. But
I really, in all fairness, I talked to you for a few minutes and I had an understanding of it. It's really not that confusing. I don't think. I can see why people can think it is, but it's really not that confusing.
Well, we don't want anybody to have any surprises, and that's why we're encouraging all voters to check their voter registration. You can do that at our voter portal, govote.com, and that's GEAUX vote.com, GEAUX vote.com, or our mobile app, the Go Vote mobile app, and you can see what your registration is officially. So your official voter registration, what we have on file for you, is going to determine which ballot you get in those 5 closed primary races.
If you generally vote in a Republican and Democrat presidential primary, generally, that's what you're doing. You're just going to pick your Republican on that part of the ballot. It's very similar.
It's similar to that because those are closed.
Yeah.
Primary preference, the presidential preference primary.
Yeah,
but I want to have that once every 4 years, though.
But when I see people say it's confusing, that part of it shouldn't really be that confusing. But what you're saying is, we didn't go grab every race. We only grabbed certain races, and that can be the little bit confusing part.
Well, people do this in other states, and I feel confident that Louisiana voters can.
You look very calm about it, so I'm glad for you.
We're trying to get everybody around the state to know about these changes that are coming up. We are doing radio, TV, internet.
I've heard it,
ads.
saw it, I've seen the ads.
We're we have videos on our website, so if anybody wants to learn more about it, they can go to govote.com/CPP for closed party primary, CPP, and you can find all of our educational videos there. I think we have 5 of them that can explain everything in further detail.
Okay. a little deeper in this. So we voted. Let's say everything stays the same. I'm not going to get on redistricting because that's something. But let's just say everything stays the same. We do May, June. Like I said, if you get 50% plus one in May, you don't even have to run in June. But you do the June election now in the fall. Can I move it that far? Or are we going to confuse people?
No, we can go.
Well, I want to move it up
Yeah.
because now we're going to the fall and explain when you go look at the ballot, the Republican, the Democrat, how this thing's going to line up in certain races, how that's going to line up. And I think the plurality will win at that point in the big race because there will be no runoff. Explain that a little bit.
So that's another big change you mentioned there. The winner of the Republican primary, the winner of the Democratic primary in those 5 closed primary races will then advance to the general election, which is November 3rd. And that's the first time you'll see the other candidates, the no party candidates, the Green Party candidates, the Libertarian Party candidates. They will all be on that general election ballot, and the winner will be determined by plurality, which means the one who gets the most votes wins. And so there will not be a runoff in that general election.
But that would be a little different for people too.
That's a difference too, as well. So that's, again, just, anybody can vote in that election. So the main thing we want voters to know, so there's no surprises, is that these closed party primaries happen in the spring. They're going to be May and June this year. And we want everyone to check their voter registration in advance. So they are registered the way they think they are, and they're affiliated with the party they think they're affiliated with. Because every 4 years when we have the closed party for presidential, the presidential preference primary, we always have people who are surprised by their registration because they thought, well, I've always voted this way, so I must be registered that way, and they're not. And so we want everyone to check.
See, Brian, Nancy's messing me up because my birthday is on a weekend. I'm gonna go fishing, and now I gotta go vote. I'm just letting you know that. How do you time all that stuff in?
Well,
she got me going to do the election on my birthday.
Do
you need another reason to early vote?
Yeah, yeah, early vote. It's
I do some early voting. I still like that little presidential election going the day of the thing, going real early in the morning, go ahead and get in line. It's just kind of cool.
It is.
Governor's race too, but I will go early every night. All right, let me take a break. I'll come back and wrap up. Her name is Miss Nancy Landry. She is the Secretary of State of the great state of Louisiana. You got another question, email me, moon@moongriffon.com. We'll take a break and wrap up with her when we get back. About 5 minutes. Okay, what do you want to cover? You got anything? I got some questions, but I want to make sure you want just something else. Oh, Bob Costello died. You probably worked with Bob.
I did work with him. He was
92. Somebody asked me, I said he had to be in his 90s. He was a judge to 70, then he couldn't be a judge. And then he became a state senator for 12 years. So that went to about 82, 83, 84.
He was the chairman of the Senate and Governmental Affairs Committee during redistricting in 2011. And I was on the House and Governmental Affairs Committee then. So I knew him from, we did that tour around the state.
So
he had a full career. Yeah.
You want to hear messed up with like how elections are playing out?
Why is that?
This District 69 race,
Mm-hmm.
qualifying is in the middle of Washington Mardi Gras, and the election day is the middle of the St. Patrick's Day parade.
Is that the one that who's running that? That's Daigle?
That's what we had Paul Sawyer. That's Paula Davis's seat.
Yeah, is that Brian Daigle? The Daigle guy running for that one? No.
Daigle's in 60. That's going to be February.
I know there's 2 people in that one. Yeah. Who's running it in Paula's seat?
Paul Sawyer, who you saw this morning.
Yeah, real nice guy. Yeah, I like him.
Yeah, he used to be Garrett's chief of staff.
Who else is running?
He's in my book club.
I cannot remember her name.
It's 2 people in it?
There's 3 people at least.
They're all Republicans?
Yeah.
Be interesting. But see, they won't be affected by the closed deal.
Ben Cox Graham, I think is her name.
Yeah, but you can even if you go to Mardi Gras, I think you can still can't. When you sign up, do you have to be present
for qualifying? Yeah.
Qualifying.
You can do it by proxy.
I thought you could,
but you have to.
You got to sign still, but I think you can
prepare in advance to do that.
So that if you can do that, then they'll be okay, as long as they get in the deal. But if they had to be there in person, I agree with you. You fly it up there, you got to fly back. Are you going to Mardi Gras for the week?
Yeah, I'll be going up on Wednesday the 28th, which is when qualifying opens.
Do y'all do the program for 2 days?
I do 2 shows a day, Thursday and Friday.
Where you do it at?
This year, want to say I might be doing all 4 of them from the LSU Alumni Hospitality Suite. Last year I did one from Troy Carter's Hospitality Suite. I did one from Cassidy's Hospitality Suite. I did one from Cargill and Letlow's Hospitality. I was a nomad last year. I had to move all over the place.
Yeah, but that wasn't too bad. You got to see different people and different reps and stuff.
We're having a little meet and greet in a hospitality suite on Thursday afternoon at 3:15. So love to have you come by. We have about 6 other secretaries of state that are coming.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
No, I don't normally make the drive. I went once.
So we
My wife loved it,
We
man.
can either talk about the new voting machine.
Well, I did. I wanted to ask you about
process,
voting
or
machines. That's
we
a
can
great.
talk about election integrity and how we're ranked number.
We'll do
4
those.
in the
We
nation.
only
Whichever-
have
whatever
like,
you want.
I think it's 5, maybe a 6-minute segment at the low. So by the time we get through that, that'll be all
Okay.
we can handle.
But whatever. And if you have anybody sending you questions, I'm happy to answer them. But
I didn't even check that. But I may, if I get some and I think they need to be answered, then I'll just send them to you.
if you want to ask me about redistricting, I'll just say that, we're going to abide by the law, whatever the, decision that comes out. But we're waiting just like everybody else.
Yep.
So
I don't think it ain't gonna happen today for sure.
tomorrow, maybe though, they announced.
tomorrow's another day
They're
for it.
announced they're going to release some opinions tomorrow. We just don't know. And so many people are just speculating, like, what if this and what if that? What if that? I don't want to do the what
They
ifs,
can
'cause
guess and
there's-
speculate
there's-
all they want until they come
Yeah.
out with here's a problem.
There's an endless number
It's
of
a more,
scenarios, but Oh, let me-
we're not just talking about redistricting, we're talking about section 2 of the vote, right? I mean, it's just, it's many things that can happen.
yeah, I can't.
And then
talk
again,
about that
none of it
part.
can
I can
happen.
only talk about the
Yeah.
logistical part because I'm the defendant. in the
Interesting to
case,
see.
yeah. So, but whatever you want to talk
No,
about.
we'll go through the couple. So here we go. Hi, hello, welcome back. It is the Moon Griffon Show in Baton Rouge, Talk 107.3 FM, Guaranteed Broadcasting. 844-766-6607, Matthew James Tax Pro Hotline. Honored to have Secretary of State Nancy Landry talking about the vote, the closed primaries. And by the way, I like Nancy's card, Brian. I'm going to show this. Nancy's going to get a kick out of it. This is what Nancy's card look like. And so her name is really small at the bottom, okay? If this was a Bob Odom card back in the day, it would be Bob Odom in big letters, and then whatever you had to find out would be little bitty letters down there. Look, Nancy's laughing.
And the card he's talking about is a push card we have out to spread the word about all the changes coming up in elections. It's designed to educate voters.
By
about
the way, I
new
know you
voting
know Mike
system.
Strain.
Oh, I
Ask
do,
Mike
yes.
Strain when Mike came and we beat Bob. It was one of the things we laughed and cut up about. I said, look, you go to the pump and it has Bob Odom's name. And by the way, I'm not cutting this. This is funny now. We're looking back. Bob Odom's name was that big and the phone number you couldn't read. It was so small. What were you going to say?
No, Strain comes on my show every month. He actually told that very same story last Thursday.
I dogged him and he said, I promise you I can do that. But his name's smaller than Bob was, but his name's grown a little bit too since he's been there. All right, Nancy has nothing to do with it. Let's talk about voting machines just for
Okay.
a real second, because I know that's been hot and cold for years now. So where are we with that?
So we went in 2021. The legislature doubled the length of the process to procure a new voting system. It's now a 4-year process, and our voting machine system that we have now is very old. In some cases, the machines are 35 years old, and we really need a new system. And so I'm happy to say we're nearing the end of that very long process. We are in year 4 now of this 4-year process. And last fall, we completed certification testing for any potential vendors, and we certified, I think, 6 vendors. We did that in public meetings at the old governor's mansion in Baton Rouge. And the system that I want to see us get is one that combines the speed and accuracy of modern technology, but also has a paper ballot component to it so that we can conduct risk limiting audits after each and every election. And this has been the most transparent and the longest state procurement process in state history. And we're just really excited to be close to the end of it. And hopefully we have a lot this year. We have an election in February, March. April, May, June, and November and December. So, it
A lot of
is
moving parts.
not sure if we can start rolling a new system out this year, but soon.
4 years sounds to me, to the average person, ridiculous in amount of time, but is that a good thing? Or is that about a year or two would have been? I'm just kind of curious what you think.
The process we had in place before was adequate and had protections and guardrails in, and we would have a new system now. If that were the case, if the law had not been changed in 2021, we would have a system now that had an auditable paper trail, and we still don't. And in the name of more transparency, in the name of putting more guardrails in place, we have gone a length of time now without an auditable system. And I think that was a mistake.
I remember the last time, this back when Ed was, and then Jay Darden was overseeing it, he kind of shut it down. Was that done right? They should have shut it down, or you feel like we should already be there? I'm just kind of curious.
There have been attempts to get a new system in the past, and they were derailed for one reason or another. I'm not really sure what. I wasn't at the Secretary of State's office and most of those happened.
No, you weren't. And I was taking for granted you were there. You weren't there.
The last one, when Secretary Ardoin withdrew it, was the last one that I was familiar with. But we need a new system. And in order to get a new system that has an auditable paper trail, we have got to move forward with this procurement. And so,
you got a time frame on this?
Well, we're hoping to have a contract in place. We're about to enter the phase where we either do an invitation to negotiate and start the procurement process, or a traditional request for proposal. And I think that normally takes a few months in order to get from beginning to getting a contract in place. And there's still plenty of oversight from the HGA and SGA committees of the legislature, and the Joint Budget Committee has to approve a final contract. So, we're not there yet, but we can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes or no? Would you like this redistricting thing to wrap up, and so we can move forward?
We'd like to have some certainty. I'll have to say, certainty is always better than uncertainty. And we're all waiting for a decision from the Supreme Court. And so nobody knows what that will be or when it will be. And we're waiting just like everybody else.
I'm letting you off of this in light one because we don't have no more time. Thank you, Nancy. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, Moon. Thanks for having me on.
Take a break. Be right back.
All right.
Lady. You know her. She's with lawsuit abuse. Venable.
Lala?
Yeah, Venable. Yeah.
She's in studio?
Supposed to. She might be on the run, and she might be a little later than the 10:30, but yeah, she talks about you all the time. She loves all the stuff you let her come on and do. But they're good people. You like to have good people.
Oh, yeah.
I like to have good people than just getting into a fight. Oh, shit. Now she says she's calling in. Let me tell Walker. I swear I thought she said she was coming by. Look at the phone. Miss Venable's supposed to be calling in. Okay. Lana Venable. See if you got it. When you got it, let me know. You got her? All right. Never mind. Maybe she ain't. I swear she thought she was coming in. She's with lawsuit abuse, huh?
Yes. L Law. Louisiana Lawsuit Abuse Law.
Okay. All right. Got it now. She was running behind, so we'll get her on the phone. That's fine. I got to go speak. Anything you want me to speak about today? Got so much crap going on. When I walk up there, Helen Moore is going to be there. Is that his name? Helen Moore? Helen Moore is going to be there. Yeah, I've met him before. But Woody had come and said, Helen Moore said he's coming to listen. I said, oh, great. I'd be glad to talk to him. Whatever I want to talk about. So that's why I'm telling you, I ain't playing nothing. Normally, Brian, when I do these things, I'm always talking about something current. It's in my mind. I may drive up in a parking lot and write 7 topics down and just go from what I've already, either I know it or I don't. And if I don't know it, I don't need to talk about it. Or if it's an opinion, that's easy. But if it's some information I want to use, sometime I'll write it down. It just depends on what it is. And this deal, I've talked to this group before, and they real current on everything. So you want to stay current. You know, the lawsuit, I was hoping to have a decision on this redistricting because people in Baton Rouge, I tell you what, if nothing else, they appreciated me standing up. And look, I told you, I'm not a big Garrett guy, but I stood up with Garrett on this freaking race. Garrett ought to be our congressman. And I'm not against Garrett. I just said I'm just not a big fan, but that don't mean he's not a good rep. But they never should have did this to him. This is freaking Jeff and them. This was wrong. And I'm still on the bandwagon on this because they were lied to.
A lot of people fell off the
What?
with Garrett because he wasn't vocal about like supporting Scalise.
Yeah, no, and he went support. He was getting some good Johnson. And listen, I'm past that. You know, just politics. Hi, hello, welcome back. It is the Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Matthew James, Tax Pro Hotline. We want to thank Brian Haldane, our friends at Talk 107.3 FM radio. And, of course, this is where we broadcasting today. They're kind enough to let us come in the studio and kind of take over when they got work to do. So, it kind of works out some kind of way, Brian, and they're making it work. And, Brian, I appreciate it.
Hey, I can multitask, man. I got everything I need right in front of me.
Everybody that sat there, including Cade, they still doing their work. They just, on the flip side, they take care of me too. Let's jump gears. We're joined by Lana Venable, head of Louisiana Lawsuit Abuse. And Lana, I'm sure I'm taking you watched the case yesterday at the Supreme Court dealing with smashing of the oil company. So anyway, good morning. Well, I know you with the outcome you're hoping to have, and I am too, because I really want to protect the biggest industry we've ever had in Louisiana. And so, what are they telling you? I mean, did you talk to people who felt like it went good? You know, they get these hearings in January, and they're not going to tell us nothing until June. I heard that the Supreme Court really does all the work right after, but they don't release it till late because they want to make sure they got every angle figured out. So, what are people telling you?
pivotal to the U.S.'s success in the war, but also to our allies that really were part of national security. And really, I think you have to look at this as almost a joint venture with the government at that time in order to ensure that we would be successful during wartime. And in that time, things do change and things are not as normal operation when you're dealing with operating during wartime and then trying to win a world war. So I think that's a very interesting thing to consider when you look at all this. And then when you go back, decades later and say, okay, wait a minute, now we're going to retroactively sue you for these activities. And then we want this to be done in a state court over activities that were essentially federally permitted, or again, if you look at it as almost a joint venture situation. And then the other piece of it, maybe too, is when you look at the fact that the local jurisdiction would stand to benefit from that action. It makes it hard for that to be an impartial action, regardless of whether it's even in federal court. So I think there are a number of things there. And one of the things I wanted to mention too was about that was interesting as a result of the yesterday. Actually, before the arguments had been heard, Justice Daniel Alito recused himself
I saw that.
from the case. And, it's interesting because he had mentioned that he apparently owns about $15,000 of stock in a related company, but I believe that is not directly associated with this particular lawsuit. So that was kind of interesting. And then what will happen is, if with him out of the vote, there's a possibility of a 4-4 deadlock. And if that does happen, then we'll revert to the earlier decision by the keeping the case in state court. So that was kind of an interesting development, as well. And then, of course, we're talking about a precedent-setting $745 million.
Yep.
And as you mentioned, many more cases to come.
Lana, with the Supreme Court justice backing out, it sounds like that hurts our case more than it helps.
Yeah, I definitely don't think it's a good thing. It just really opens up the door for that, opportunity of a stalemate there, which automatically preserves the previous ruling about the state court piece of there, as well as future cases. So that's certainly not an outcome that we want. Definitely don't look at it as a good thing at all, and we'll see where it goes from there. But the bottom line, this verdict that we're talking about, Moon, the $700 million verdict, is what we call a nuclear verdict. The nuclear verdicts are anything that's $10 million or more, and this way surpasses that. And again, when you're looking at 40 plus suits coming right behind it, this really has the ability to be just incredibly damaging for this industry that, as you mentioned, has been the backbone of our economy. I heard Mark Earhart on your show yesterday, and he referred a lot to the trial lawyer economy. And I think that's a great point. In Louisiana, do we want to have true economic development that provides jobs and long-term stability? Or do we really want to just focus on having a trial lawyer economy where people look at, what they can get, where the trial bar gets richer and the state gets poorer?
Yeah, I read one article. It was a guy in New York that said these suits, if they continue to go, we've got some bigger suits than the one they gave $744 million. And they claim that this could be up to $50 billion. Now, how do companies pay $50 billion and survive? It's almost impossible to survive. And Carmouche and some of these people get mega bucks. And then and these parishes are going to supposedly, quote, get this money. What are they going to do with this money? So I don't know how you run an economy. The oil and gas industry, it's the funny thing, President Trump and his people are on our side. And yet he's talking about energy levels, yet the state of Louisiana is on the opposite side on this issue. And that's what I don't understand. Trump's trying to say, hey, we're going to make y'all prosper. We're going to get out of y'all way and let y'all go do business. And yet if they continue to do this, we're not going to participate. Not to me.
too. And I think if we continue to send this kind of message from Louisiana, we are basically hanging a closed for business sign on our state. And I know that we've had many recent major announcements, and that's great. But these companies, they're not completely bulletproof, as you said. When you start talking about hundreds of billions of dollars of verdict against a company, a legacy company that's been in the state for generations, that certainly doesn't pave the way for other industries to come for that existing industry to grow in our state. Hello, Texas.
Yeah, that's what I don't want to happen. I'm just concerned these companies, sooner or later, we've had enough of them leave. We've had enough employees leave. And it seems like that if we don't get the right ruling in this, I just don't know how these companies stay here. And we need them to stay in Louisiana. How do they stay here when you have to pay suits? Like, I know there's been a lot of stuff is settlement suits. And if they ever go to settlement suits, then they say, well, go ahead and settle with us. This is what they've been being told. Settle with us for all this money we want, and then we're going to leave y'all alone. In other words, pay us a ransom. That's what it looks like to me, because I've heard that for many years. Just settle it. Just settle it. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Hold on, Atlanta Venable, Louisiana lawsuit abuse. Let me take a break. I'll come back and wrap up with you. All right, folks, you're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. So, Brian, LSU getting all them portal guys. See, I thought the Gordy. Hi, hello. Welcome back. It is the Moon Griffon Show. Honor to be with you. I want to thank Brian Haldane, our friends at Guarantee Broadcasting, for allowing us to come in and sit in and actually use their studio. It's kind of a cool setup for us. 844-766-6607, the Matthew James Tax Pro Hotline. Lana Venable, of course, Louisiana Lawsuit Abuse. She joins. Lana, that was my big deal when I went back to you right before we got off on the settled lawsuits. And I had people, and I'm not going to mention their names, but I've talked to some really high ups in government and things of that nature. Say, boy, we can settle this. We can settle all this. Everything will be good. Well, that's fine. So we got 41 more cases. So do we settle every case at, say, $1 billion a year? And we say, okay, everybody gets $1 billion. Now, who pays this? The companies pay it. And then all of a sudden, they're going to say, well, now that we settle, come on back and do business here. Well, if I'm a company, I'm going, do what? You just took so much money out of my pocket. I'll just go to Texas. I'll go somewhere else and do business. Louisiana needs this business. We need it for our people. We need people to have these good jobs. That's what Louisiana needs more than anything. And when your own state is actually leading the charge against the best industry we've ever had in the United States, in the world, oil and gas, that looks horrible for your state. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yep. Well, you can book the trial attorneys ain't doing it for free. There's a reason why. I find this. It's a good thing. It's a bad thing, but LSU's biggest alumni group is in Houston. It's the biggest one they got, biggest alumni they got outside the state. Why? Jobs. Why? People move over there to go to work. People can move over there to create a business. People go in oil and gas business. They moved over there. So it becomes the biggest. That's just nothing to do with LSU. LSU alumni. Why? Because that's where people are sitting. Because they work over there instead of over here. And one of the reasons is and because of the lawsuit abuse. But Lana, you can probably talk on the other side too about the number of jobs lost and the production and amount of money being lost right now before these lawsuits.
So, there is no such thing as a free lunch. When there's massive verdicts and lawsuits like these, and even smaller ones, those costs are ultimately passed down to the consumers and that community.
Yeah, and that's the point I'm talking about. That we just can't afford this anymore. And I feel for these companies. I just can't imagine the federal government ordering you to do something. I'll give you another example. Katrina. When Katrina hit, it was all about the Corps of Engineers, about the levees, and about government. And when it was all said and done, yeah, government ended up with Katrina, the federal government giving a bunch of money because that's what you do when a catastrophe hits. But it was their fault too. And in this case, if there's a fault, they ought to be blaming the federal government in World War II, not the oil and gas industry. I'm just saying that's what they ought to be blaming. So it goes through the federal government, but that's not what they're doing because they know where the money's at. The money's in their oil companies, and they want to get that money.
We're also seeing a new wave of new energy technology coming forward, and things are not going to necessarily look the way they've always looked, and there will be more new opportunities for these companies to invest in other places, and I think certainly if this kind of thing keeps happening, we're going to continue to see more and more of that, and Louisiana's going to continue.
Lana, before we let you out of here, Lana Venable, of course, she is Louisiana, has a Louisiana lawsuit abuse. So just and I know you're not a lawyer, but as far as what people are telling you, you think we're going to hear anything before June on this particular deal? And I don't know how many other cases out there that are going to be heard this year before this decision comes in.
It's at least a three-legged stool, right? We want a good, sound legal environment. We want a strong workforce. We need to have the resources to be able to make whatever projects we have that are happening. But if we don't have that predictability and that certainty and everything else is the box is checked and we're ready to go, that legal instability can be a deal breaker on many occasions. And I think the more we see these kinds of precedent-setting major lawsuits, the more we're going to see that impact investment here. And certainly, we can't just look at today and tomorrow. We've got to look way ahead, like other states are doing. And, we've got to get out of our own way. And I think it's important that the people of Louisiana, help get this message out that, we really can't afford, literally cannot afford this level of this type of lawsuit abuse in our state, because it may not happen today and it may not happen tomorrow, but it certainly is going to begin to involve, to impact every working family, every taxpayer in this state, because there will be fewer and fewer opportunities available, and the prices of everything will continue to be higher and higher. And as we talked about Texas, those other states are going to just become more and more attractive, and that's without looking at any other factors. We know we live in a great state. We know we have the best people. We have the best food. We have the best culture. But we really have got to address this lawsuit abuse culture, and really, that's where I think our citizens come in and have to demand better.
Yeah. Well, Lana, I appreciate it. How can people find out more about what you do?
Continue to be engaged on this and on the other fronts. Our goal is to make sure that consumers get engaged in this process and understand the effects of lawsuit abuse. And this is going to be a busy year. We've got a big Supreme Court seat open.
Yep.
With Justice Crane and in that first district.
Yep.
So this is going to be a very big year.
Yeah. And the good news is we turn around to 27 and we got the governor's race and all these other races. Anyway, all right, Lana, got to go. God bless. Thank you. All right, folks, thank you for the second. All right. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show.
We'll see y'all later, Facebook. Thanks for hopping on.